The corporations have not yet won.
Community still exists in small tucked-away areas not often talked about.
Artists and businesses beginning to thrive in places thought to be defeated.
Dave, I like to call him David Francis.
And I, Tom Maslowski,
are here to give you a glimpse of what's going down in downtown J-Town.
We're going to be interviewing all of our favorite musicians,
Artists and business owners
that give every ounce of themselves into what they do.
And we are back at Third City Sound. It has been about 7 weeks, and we are here for episode 30. What's going on, Dave?
I've already made one mistake at least today.
Well, we're off to a good start. One is better than 16.
That's pretty much par for the course, though.
We are doing a rare Wednesday afternoon recording here. We met Mr. John Simpson at the Route 66 diner for some breakfast.
Well, we knew him before today.
Well, we did.
We met up with him for breakfast.
we
We
were
didn't just
meeting.
meet him at the diner and be like, hey.
Well, that's not what I said.
That's what it sounded like to me.
You're a really weird dude.
We met
a weird dude.
John Simpson at the diner.
Yeah,
is
for
what
breakfast.
you said.
Well, you cut me off because I was still actually saying like the whole sentence.
I guess our
Breakfast.
banter's a little rusty too, also, huh?
Breakfast.
It was delicious.
It was good.
Spicy chicken skillets all around.
We all got the same thing, and I think they were impressed. John, how did you feel today?
Well, mistake number one sitting right here.
Yeah.
Hello, Tom, Dave. Thanks for having me.
We don't bite. It's fine.
I understand. That's good.
So, John, I know you from Chicago Street Pub. I know that you organized New Orleans North. That was maybe one of the best times I've had down here besides Hop String Fest. How did you, was that, where did you start doing that? Because that was the first time I'd ever been to an event that I knew that you organized.
Well, let me first start just saying congratulations to you guys for doing this. I'm happy to be part of it. But
Well, thank you.
Thanks, man.
yeah, I mean, you guys are like menu makers. There's so many stuff going on, and you guys between the Facebook page and the posts, the podcast, there's so many things that you go to a restaurant, you keep trying the same thing, and all of a sudden now there's something new, and whether it's music, art, theater, pinball, philanthropy, or you're exposing it to everybody, and I think it is really going a long way to keep the buzz going on downtown. So, kudos to you guys. So
Thanks. And we appreciate all the effort that, you've been putting in and believing in all of us crazy musicians and artists and all these new businesses. I'm sure appreciate all the things that you've been doing to also keep that moving. I mean, we need someone that knows how to organize things. And,
yeah, they got this the skin in the game. I'm just, I love it all, and whatever I can do to help spread the word, just like you're doing, just helps the whole scene get better and more people to it. And I love it, so it's not a hard sell, So
yeah, we do see you at almost every single show that you're able to get to. I'm always seeing you out now. I know you do things for the Bicentennial Park, the theater. I know you're on the Joliet Chamber of Commerce. What else are you a part of?
Well, I've also just recently formed Route 66, the Illinois Route 66 Music Museum that's we're putting together and trying to get that off the ground. We've got a lot of people getting that started, and we're trying to get moving on that. So I'm also part of that. And music-wise, those are the three things that I'm most involved in. I'm part of the Joliet New Lions, which does some philanthropy work as well. But as far as stuff that's going on downtown and in this area, I love that kind of music and being involved in stuff. And like opportunity presents itself to kind of being an ambassador for this area and the downtown and all the people that are, doing it every day, and whatever I can do to help, keep that going. I like to, plus I enjoy it. So it's like a win-win,
Yeah, it's got to be a lot of fun, especially putting together New Orleans North was awesome. The one thing, I don't know why I always talk about this part of it, but there's a little alleyway right across the street from Chicago Street Pub. And if you didn't notice, it was by the Abita tent, I think, the Abita beer. And I walked by to get a beer. I happen to enjoy drinking lots of beer. And I noticed there were some lights strung up, and there were some people standing around the alley. And I walked back there. There was an entire setup of tables, and there was a huge stage back there with a band and lights and great sound. And I walked back there, and the band was absolutely amazing. I could not hear any of the other music from the other stage. It was such a unique, I don't know, you think like, oh, this is kind of like a dingy alley, but you guys made it look awesome back there. Everyone was having a great time, and I just thought it was super great that you could walk around the streets. What was it? Most of Chicago Street was roped off. Van Buren was closed off, and there was stuff to eat and do and buy and look at and shop and music everywhere. I thought that was a great time. There was so many people there. The Big Line Yup was playing. No one was getting into any arguments or fights. I didn't see anyone getting arrested. I mean, it was the best fest. It was, how many thousands of people were there?
Oh, I think the estimate's like, 5,000 or 6,000. So
5,000 or 6,000 people in one little area.
Best show I ever played in my life.
Yeah.
That was, from the stage, was insane. It was just a sea of people.
I wish I could play in
awesome.
front of 5,000 people like that. It was such a great time. Now, where did you get your start organizing events? I mean, are you an event planner officially?
No. I am, though, a big New Orleans advocate. I travel there a lot. And so I actually got involved the second year of the festival. I don't even remember it happening the first year, which I think was 6 years ago. But one of the event organizers said, "Hey, you need to be, you need to be a part of this." They know I'm a big music guy. They know I go to New Orleans a lot. And so I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Good, we're going to put you in charge of the music." And so, I can't do it. We couldn't do it without all the support of all the volunteers, all the sponsors, and all that kind of stuff. But, we try to do something a little bit different every year. We have a main stage and have bands there, but, for a couple years we had, one year we had a Zydeco band. Then we had a 4-star brass band for a couple times, and we did a little second line all the way to Harrah's because they were one of our major sponsors. Brought them. The police closed the streets down. We marched down the street, went in the rotunda, went upstairs. That was kind of a cool little thing. We've had street musicians play. Some guys from the subway up in Chicago, just trying to create a New Orleans vibe. This year we got Paul Sanchez and his Rolling Road Show from New Orleans, and then we tried to do the alley thing, which was something that happens down in New Orleans a lot. So we kind of just try to bring something different, a little different take on the New Orleans theme. We're trying to brand it pre-New Orleans standards stuff as far as the music goes and the vibe
And the food.
and the food. And the beer, Abita's, they're always one of our good sponsors as well. So we got some ideas for next year, too, that just, more than anything I hear is that there's no other festival quite like it in Joliet. And, it kind of has a TJIF Friday kind of feel, just one night, not interfering with graduations or whatever on Saturdays. So, everybody comes down. And
I thought it was great too, just because all the restaurants were open. I got to go eat at Chamber. I always say it wrong. Chamber Latin Cafe for the first time. I got to eat there during that whole thing. They were open, and you can sit out on their little patio and watch everything going on. It looked great too. It was all lit up and everything. How did you get your start doing all that? Where did you grow up around here? Are you from Joliet?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Joliet. Been here all my life. I've lived here all my life, except for 4 years at college. Went to U of I in Champaign-Urbana, a civil engineer. But
What did you do with the civil engineer degree?
Well, I'm a contractor. I'm a partner in a local general contracting firm, Frank Burla and Son Builders. It's actually a fourth generation family business, and it's a great place to work. And we've been around for 60 plus years. So,
So now that's your full time.
That's my full time job.
So then you're simply just volunteering at the
Oh
chamber?
yeah. That's none of this. Yeah, I'm just and I don't produce anything. I've just been to New Orleans enough to, I'm just trying to create a vibe that's kind of unique. And I think why it works well is that, as it gets going, the stage people work good with the musicians, the people, the beer people work good with, the entertainment. I mean, it's all, everybody starts pulling on a rope in the same direction, and pretty soon, we got something going, and then, we kind of tweak it a little bit. But, we have tremendous support from the city, from the police, and the sponsors. We can't do it without them. They, they make it all happen. It's so much easier to do when you have people sponsoring it. And, hopefully we do something that reflects well for the city and for the people that are spending their money as for sponsorships. And really it's really quite grown. Each year there's just more and more people. And it seemed like, especially this year, such a diverse crowd. And, I love seeing just people, just dancing and enjoying stuff and moving around, having fun. So that's what we try to do with that festival. And so, I think it's working, and we're just trying to keep it going. It is weather dependent, but if the weather's good, chances are you're going to enjoy yourself.
Well, there's plenty of places to go and hide if there is any rain. There's
shelter
4
to be
bars.
found.
Yeah,
They had big, huge tents to sit underneath at the last one. Yeah.
I'd sit out there in the rain for that still.
Well, and if we're talking about the theme, and Dave, I guess, can speak to this. Big Lang Yaps played for us the last couple of years, and that's right what we're looking for.
Huge sound.
Yeah, great, and all the pieces, the music, it's just adds to the authenticity of it. As would be hard to do it with a cover band of top 40 stuff.
It would not be the same.
If you're trying to to provide the environment, that kind of thing.
No, that's right in our wheelhouse. That's
well
our thing.
Yeah. And it's good to see the local people that you see all the time up there doing their thing, and the people besides maybe just people that come down to the pub enjoying it.
Well, yeah, it's great that we get to keep it a local event. That's kind of the whole thing about all of this, is that all these things that are taking place are from people that live here and work here. And I think it's great that we get to have local beer, music, all the restaurants are open. It's just a really nice time. And I hope we get to keep doing more and more of them. And speaking of all those events and you creating a mood, I think you're really good at doing that for someone who's just kind of volunteering. I mean, you really take it to the next level. I got to, John Condren told me about this gig he had at the Rialto. He was playing outside in some fake Irish pub. I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about? So I go outside of Chicago Street Pub, I'm about to go home, and I hear Condren yelling down the street. I'm like, what is this guy doing? So I'm screaming, shut up, Condren, shut up, Condren. And he's not responding or anything like that. So I go walk around the corner, and there is this roped off area. There's all these giant potted trees kind of in this enclosed area right on Van Buren there. And so I'm like, oh man, this must be the party of the pub that he's doing here. So I walk up, and this tent has got wooden planks as walls, and on the inside of the event, you can see it's like faux brick. It's a fake Irish pub. It's just what he said. It was a faux Irish pub. The pub had a name, it had a sign, it had lights and lanterns, and they had heat in there. They had a fireplace outside. Everyone's all dressed to the nines, enjoying some drinks and some music. Condren was playing without a microphone, mind you. So I heard this guy yelling down the street, and he was probably just introducing himself and Allie Flood. and they were great. It was great inside. Everyone was having a good time, and the music actually worked out really well with no amplification. I mean, what a great idea, John.
Well, I am in charge of special events for the chamber, so whenever they're doing something that's maybe festival oriented, I get involved a little bit. And
A little bit. That was amazing.
well, I can't take a whole lot of credit, but the chamber had a gala, and they were honoring the Darcy family for their legacy of philanthropy through the last, basically, 130 years or more. And
130 years.
it's quite a story, actually, if you get a chance to look at it sometime. So, as part of it, it was inside the Rialto, and of course, the Rialto is with all its beauty and stuff, and we had a big band in there. But they wanted to create an Irish pub, and so we said, okay, well, we'll start working on how we're going to do that. And then they said, well, we'd like to have a couple people in there that plays Irish music. So, John, what do you think? Well, I said, well, I think I know just who to ask. So,
yeah.
Yeah, right.
and
None better than John Condren.
right, and Allie could sing to me anytime. She's just such a
Oh, yeah.
beautiful. And together, it was so indulgent just watching them, the interplay between the two of them play, and it really, whenever we say we're going to do something, it's just an idea, and then of course, the volunteers, put the thing together, built the walls at their home, and then we brought it all out there the morning on Friday, and then put all the brick up, and then people brought beer signs, and it really it was actually a cigar, scotch, and whiskey bar, and so as part of the deal, you just they had a dozen bottles of scotch and Irish whiskey, and
I love whiskey.
and just and probably 100 some cigars, and then there was a garden area there, so it did have an Irish pub feel to it. Even John said that. So if John says that, and we got lots of compliments on it. I don't know if I can take very much credit for it, except just being part of the thing. But that's something that we did for the mostly the members, and it's kind of a celebration of a good year, and but the pub was pretty cool. There were a lot of times when there was more people in the pub than there was in the rotunda.
Well, yeah, it was cool in there.
So anyway, that's
so
what
people
that was.
were making those pieces at their houses on their own time.
Yeah, they're basically 4x8 sections, 2x4 sections, and then they brought the sections together, nailed them together, and then put the brick paneling on there, and then we had all the garden stuff there with all the potted plants, and we had a bunch of propane heaters, and it actually was quite toasty out there. So
Yeah.
we enjoyed ourselves, and you came by and checked it out. I'd still like to see the film that you got on. I know you took a
Yeah.
couple of pictures and stuff. So
Yeah, I'm going to be posting those. I figured I'd time it with the interview here. You
Sure.
know. Yeah, I got some video. I kind of snuck in. I was just like, I'm taking some pictures. I'm just going to go in and out. And I'm in like my jeans and t-shirt. Everyone's dressed in tuxedos and looking great. And I'm like all scraggly, kind of like coming from the pub, like trying to just hurry up and get in, get out. And
now we let you in, though.
I saw John. I'm like, hey man, I'm trying to take pictures from like behind like the trees. It's like, get in here, man. Just take some pictures and just go. So I got some
Or
video.
take some pictures and stay. You know?
Well, I wasn't gonna be like rude or anything. I just wanted to get some pictures for the page, but
Gypsies in the Palace. That's what that was.
yeah, it was great, man. I mean, everyone was having a great time, and the fireplace. I mean, everything just was a very comfortable atmosphere. You would think that is up all year round. It looked so good.
Well, that's what we're trying to do with everything. We don't save the world or anything, or get the haters to not hate each other. But for one night, we had a good time, and it's a whole different thing than say New Orleans North. But hopefully, it was put together as well and received as well. And boy, we took it down in like an hour on Sunday
Seriously?
morning. It's just like, man, so much work. And
So did you have like 30 people helping you take that down? Then 1 hour?
well, it's probably an hour and a half, but it went down quick. It went down quickly. It's just like the day after Christmas. It's like, man,
Gone. Yeah.
gone. Sweep up the street and put the barricades down and back to normal. So anyway, that's.
Well, now how did you get started doing all this? So you were a civil engineer. You went to you're doing that thing. So now all of a sudden you're at 2 establishments, not just the chamber, but I mean you're doing a lot of stuff at Bicentennial also. How did that even start? How did you?
Well, actually, I've probably done that the longest. I've been there for maybe 28 years. The story there, back when Billy Lemacher, who was park's named after and who really did all the work for that, was putting the idea together, wanted to build a park and a band shell to, was the park first, and then the band shell came to celebrate the bicentennial, which was in 1976, actually.
My birth year.
Yeah, and try to put that together. So I guess the way the story goes, and I always take a long time to tell the story, but
You have 10 minutes left.
all right, I'll cut it short.
No, man, tell
No,
a
I'm
story.
saying you
So
can fill 10
yeah,
minutes if you want.
so anyway, we were neighbors with the Lemachers, or my parents were, and apparently over cocktails or an old fashioned or something, that this idea was pushed, and Billy said, well, I'm going to start selling these bricks, $1,000 bricks, to try to get this thing started. And I guess the way the story goes, my mother wrote the first check for the first brick, and basically there was no turning back. And so, of course, I was young then, but after, I got out of college and got back, established in the area, apparently I've always had a soft spot in Billy's heart. So I got asked to be on the board, and, been on the board probably since, the late 80s.
What was the first event you ever organized?
Well, I don't organize anything really. I mean, I have some ideas maybe on some stuff, but for the longest time, Billy had a blueprint. Some of the old stuff, the concerts on the hill, the Noam show, Waterway Days, a lot of that stuff that they've been doing since for 40 plus years. So, and I've been advocating lately to do more stuff that brings some younger people, involved and try to keep the same vibe that we're doing. And, these people are just as enthusiastic down there as, say, the pub or as, the New Orleans North or whatever. And there's some overlap, but, stuff, I'm going to just say a couple of things that we've done over the years. We've had the fireworks show there. We had a couple years off there, but, that's a nice thing that, for the people on the east side, they have drama camps. The concert on the hill used to be, for the most part, we could cater to the older generation, but this year we had, bluegrass night, Latin night, polka night, blues night, folk night. We do stuff like Battle of the Bands now. For young kids.
Didn't you guys do a Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yeah.
We've done that, and that's not your mother's Bicentennial Park.
No.
And if any of for those of us that know and used to participate in that stuff back when we were in school, it's encouraged you to dress up in costumes and participate.
Right.
Which usually when you participate and it's at a theater, they want to kick you out, but here
It's a big mess, that's for sure.
it's a big mess. So we do it and encourage participation.
Do you guys sell the kits to go along with it?
No, it's bring your own.
Bring
but
your
we
own kit.
but we sell the alcohol.
Yeah, right. Well, that's part of the kit, I guess, too, right?
What's
Yeah.
the kit? Enlighten me.
So there's a bunch of, and I can't really speak because I've never gone. So my wife always makes fun of me. She's like, "You're a virgin. You have to go. You have to go." And they paint a giant V on your head. So the whole premise of the movie is wacky.
golly.
It was a horrible B movie that
Well, I know that. Just
was
what's
so
the kit?
bad that people started acting out scenes of the movie during the movie. And so there's parts where like you throw stuff or eat stuff or like all different goofy, weird things. Like I think like a package of hot dogs is involved sometimes. Like there's crazy stuff. And so some movie theaters, they'll play it at midnight still. And some movie theaters will actually sell a kit so that you can like throw things at the screen and all that kind of stuff at the proper times.
To have instructions too. 'Cause I know there's things
No,
you're
it's
supposed
pretty
to
obvious.
yell.
Most
And-
people, if they go there, they know what to do. I
Yeah, you can follow along.
But so we're doing stuff. We have a drunken gnome show coming up. That's
Now, what is that all about?
Well, that's just we've done the gnome show, which is basically for kids and young kids and families. And we decided just because we're trying to do things different, we're going to have a
drunken gnome.
Yes. And so that is we had a first year last year, and I can honestly say that is one of the funniest nights that I've ever been a part of. It is pretty, I'd call it, R-rated on the easy side and NP-17 or whatever they call it, NC-17 on the high end, and it is people who you don't think would ever say a PG word.
Now they're getting a little crazy.
They're getting
rowdy.
a little crazy, and it's just you can't stop laughing. So that's coming up on Saturday, December 2nd. So I can't take credit for organizing any of that, promoting it maybe. So we're trying to move along with the times. They do a lot of drama stuff there. The camps there, and we got some camps there for underprivileged, or not underprivileged, but handicapped kids. And
Now drama camp, you mean
Drama
like
camp,
you go
yeah.
and learn acting skills and stuff?
yeah, plus all that kind of stuff for the great theater if you've never been in it. But so we're just trying to do a little stuff there, just like everybody is in this area, just trying to be have a public service to and something that reflects well in the city. I think the city is better off with
Stuff to do.
stuff to do. So I enjoy it because the enthusiasm among the participants, especially whether it's actors there or musicians downstairs or whatever, it's just you just thrive on it. So it's hard to not want to be part of it. So I've been involved in that probably the longest. And I think more my willingness to be involved versus my skill is why I've been hanging around, So
Well, you definitely need both, and we appreciate how much that you do and how much you come to all of our shows, and you do support different things and go to different restaurants, and all that is important too. I mean, liking it on Facebook is fine and all, but getting out there and being a part of it is where it's at. It's not easy. I mean, everyone's got a lot of stuff going on, and sometimes you don't have spare cash to do things, but I think there's a lot of stuff going on now that tries to appeal to more people. You don't have to go and break the bank. You can just go and hang out to a lot of places. It's cool. It's nice. There's good people around, and I'm just glad that we keep running into more and more people who want to be a part of something and want to keep helping the community grow. And as a matter of fact, do you have anything coming up that you want to talk about? I know you just spoke about the drunken gnome and all that kind of stuff,
I
but
see a sheet of paper with a whole list of events on it.
well,
Just read it off real quick.
yeah, as far as the park goes, I got a calendar of events. There's a couple new things we're trying to do there, and we've got an emerging playwrights festival where people are encouraged to write their own small plays.
that's awesome.
And somehow they get judged, and not real familiar. This is all stuff that's coming up in 2018, so I'm a little light on the details, but somehow that gets judged, and then I think they're short 10, 15 minutes, and then everybody gets to put them on. But it's
That's awesome.
it's something that doesn't happen all the time, and
No.
it encourages there. We also have a J-Town Film Festival, which is going to be a short film festival, my understanding, where people are invited. Both, I think we're going to have 3 classes. We're going to have teenagers, college kids, and maybe advanced or professional to put together short films, and they get somehow judged and played at some evening where we'll sell drinks and stuff like that, and all the people get to hang out and that kind of stuff. So kind of like a band thing, but
For movies.
but for movies and for people who are, kind of trying to do that kind of thing. And, really nobody else is doing that.
You don't see that very often.
You don't.
Now, can anyone submit their work? It doesn't have to be a Joliet resident or anything like that?
No, I don't think so at all. We're going to have a Leprechaun 0K, which I think is just a drinking party.
0K.
Can you elaborate on that one more, please?
I don't. We had one last year. It
Everybody
wasn't
take a step to your right.
Yes, I think I think it was. There was 2 bars, and I think the starting line was at one bar, and the finishing line was another bar. And you dress up in costumes, and it's silliness to a certain extent, but we're trying to create awareness of all our programming, what we do, and then every once in a while we'll do just something that's kind of off
Fun.
the wall, but and fun, and so we're going to have a women's empowerment conference. Don't know a whole lot about that yet, but we're going to have some speakers there, and we're trying here for the first time. So
That's great.
That's kind of a cool thing. We're going to. Other than that, we're going to have a Derby Day party to watch the races. Redneck Ravinia.
This is all at
Bicentennial
Bicentennial.
Park. Battle of the Bands. We've done that for a couple years now. We have usually the teenage kids in their bands. They put it together, and we have judges. Usually, people from around the area that are musicians or bar owners or something, and they judge, and kind of like whatever the television show that and then they get to do a second set, and then they get I believe the winner got get $500 prize or stuff like that. And we have some music companies that kind of throw in sponsorships and that kind of stuff. So
I wonder if we could somehow put either you or Bill on the spot right now on the show, and maybe donate some sort of a recording package or something to the winner or something like that on the spot, Dave and Bill.
Yeah.
Sorry. That'll be talked about in private.
I'll
but-
donate something my time for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're I think the main goal is we're trying to think of stuff that exposes us to a wider audience. We started to do something that's reasonably cost. We're not going to put on hop string or anything to that nature or anything. But most of our shows are $5 or $10. We're just trying to be part of the community, and
You definitely are.
So that's stuff. To the chamber stuff. That we do 2 or 3 big events. I will say one of the bigger events we did this year is the Alianza Fest. We had probably a crowd that blew away the New Orleans North Fest. We probably had 9,000 people there,
wow.
and man, what a night of Latin rhythms and stuff like that. And that was a family event, and it was our first year, and it was tremendously successful. And
What kind of food was there?
it was great food.
Who came out? Because I like talking about food, man.
I'll be honest. I'm not. It wasn't just Joliet people. I can't remember everybody that came out, but the food was just like, if you like Latin food and
Yes.
Mexican food, it was over the top. And we had a children's area, and then the music was. I wish I could remember who it was and even pronounce the name properly, but they were like the Mexican equivalent to Boys
Boys to Men.
to Men, and so they would just really they brought fans from Wisconsin, Michigan,
Oh, wow.
Iowa, Indiana, and
It wasn't Menudo, was it?
No. Dave, please say no to Menudo. No. What kind of stuff did you have going on in the children's area?
they had games and stuff that I don't know. They had different games. I wish here I am taking credit for stuff and don't know all the details. But they had a children's area that where the kids could hang out and spend some time while the parents.
Bags of glass. I'm sure some frayed ropes. No supervision.
This is not Saturday Night Live, Dave.
Chainsaw
was that? What was
teddy
the-
bears. Yeah.
What was the Saturday Night Live episode with Dan Aykroyd? He was the
Yeah, it's this toy maker.
Yeah.
It's a bag of glass.
yeah. I don't know. You walk around, you play it. I don't know. You always
This
got
jump
that-
rope, little Susie jump rope.
Was it Johnny
Anyway,
Human Torch?
I remember the chainsaw teddy bear. It was a teddy bear with a chainsaw on it.
Yeah. So
On
that's
that
an idea for next year, though.
Yeah. One by Dave. Boom! Those are the chimes signaling the end of the interview portion of, well, the interview.
All right.
That was a custom designed chimes, by the way.
Yeah, I was fiddling with a knob there.
John, thanks a lot for taking time out of your day to come and hang out with us and do this here and have lunch with us and everything. That was really cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you as well, and continued success to you guys and all you do at this thing. On this event, and plus your personal lives and being musicians and recording and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm just glad to be a part of it. Next time I see you, I'll buy you a beer.
I like that plan very much.
Nice.
Actually, it's my turn to buy. It's my
Okay,
turn.
All right.
Me and John always go back and forth. We're trying to buy each other beers.
Yes,
I wanted to say thanks to Dave for always coming up here and making time out of his day to come do this for us. He also volunteers his time.
Oh,
And thanks to Bill Aldrich for allowing us to come.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, he takes care of this whole thing, and they let us do this. And Bill is basically volunteering his studio for us here to do this.
yeah.
Bill
And,
is cool.
Yeah, he's the best. And he does a hell of a job recording, too.
Yeah.
I do have to just once in a while plug myself here. The John Condren and the Old Gang Orchestra. I play bass for that. And we are recording an album up here, which should be out in early 2018. We're looking at maybe February. There's some big show kind of stuff in the works I can't really talk about.
I'm hearing it's good, though.
It's going to be good stuff. It's going to be good stuff. I'm not allowed to give away too much. We have to kind of get our ducks in a row here, but it's going to be awesome. And Bill's been engineering that for us. He does a great job. I'd also like to.
I helped.
And Dave helped
I'm
set
also
up 3
assistant
microphones.
engineering on that. Yes.
Get a word in here, Dave.
Dave worked on unwrapping mic cables. No.
I'm also producing River Horse's new album. Let's just throw that out there, too.
Which also may have something to do with what I'm talking about now, even though I'm not
Possibly.
really going to talk anymore about it. And I would also like to thank Mike and Kathy Trisna for everything they do to keep this scene cultivated and make all of us crazy musicians welcome. This has been What's Going Down in downtown J-Town.